So what is meaning of polygenic inheritance?
Skin color,
Skin color.
height,
Yeah, skin color,
height.
height. Okay. So the characters like height, skin color in humans, which do not have distinct traits. Like if you take the height in the plants, so capital T, small t. So here only the capital T and small t are influencing. So one is acting like a the dominant character, the other one is acting like a homologous recessive character. But in polygenic inheritance, we are having multiple genes that will control a character. So you will be having A, B, C. Understood? So polygenic inheritance, where we are having more than one gene that is controlling a particular character. Okay. So due to that, we are getting a gradient results, a gradient traits. Okay. So such kind of genes are called as the polygenic genes. So it is controlled by two or more genes. Okay. The inheritance of such types of traits, we call it as polygenic inheritance. Is that clear? So next one is pleiotropism. It is related to this polygenic inheritance. So what's happening here? A single gene exhibit multiple types of phenotypic expression. We saw. Okay. So it is getting a multiple type of phenotypic expressions. So such gene is a pleiotropic gene. Okay. So why does this happen? First, suppose this pleiotropic gene will directly attack on the metabolic pathway. So the what happens with the metabolic pathway? Either this metabolic pathway will decrease its efficiency or it completely stops. So the metabolism it completely stops or it will excessively reduce. You can see here the enzyme function will be missing or severely reduced. So the metabolic pathway also will be reduced. The final whatever the protein you need, it will also be completely reduced. Okay. So and in which way does it reduce? So that will give a different types of phenotypes, whether it's a fully reduced or whether it's a partially reduced, whether it's a half reduced or whether it is stayed fully. So based on that, we are having the blending of nature. Okay. So it's caused due to the mutation of the gene that codes for enzyme that's called as phenylalanine hydroxylase. Okay. And this type of mutation, we call it as single gene mutation. That means change in one single gene and it is causing the mutation, it causing the final phenotype. So that's why it is called as the single gene mutation. Okay. So what's happening in this? The enzyme is completely missing or it's severely reduced. Okay. So whether it's completely stop function or it is very less functioning. And based on how much amount of does it perform its function, so based on that, we have different types of phenotypic characters. Okay. And that will bring the multiple phenotypes, which we studied as polygenic inheritance. Okay. So the metabolic pathway associated with the enzyme is disrupted and leads to multiple phenotypes. So you can see here, that's our phenylketonuria, like skin pigmentation, reduction in hair, mental retardation. These are the symptoms that you will be seeing when the person is suffering with the phenylketonuria. Okay. See, here pleiotropism and polygenic inheritance. What is the basic definition here? Here, polygenic inheritance is caused due to the multiple gene presence. Okay. So based on multiple gene presence, you are getting the end result as poly. But here, what's happening? Due to the mutation, the enzyme is not performing well, and you are getting multiple characters, multiple phenotypes. Okay. So that's the basic definition difference between the pleiotropism and polygenic inheritance. So pleiotropism, it is a disease. In that disease, you will be having different types of phenotypes. Okay. Whereas polygenic inheritance, the same character controlled by different number of genes. So based on presence of which gene, you will be getting the output. Understood? So generally we know either the dominant output input or recessive input should be there. And that will finally give the output. But you are having more than one input here. You are having A, B, C. These are the dominant traits. And small a, small b, small c. These are the recessive traits. So here the multiple dominant traits, they are giving the blended result of the output. So that's a polygenic inheritance where here a single character is controlled by multiple genes. Whereas here the enzyme, the main important enzyme that is working inefficiently and that's giving different outputs. So that's a pleiotropism. Is that clear? What is the difference between Pleiotrophism and polygenic inheritance. Guys, please reply if you understood.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So remember, these are the symptoms for the phenylketonuria. And how many chromosomes are present in human DNA? Human cell?
23, sir.
23.
23. You can see here 22 chromosomes are similar. They are identical to each other. So we call them as autosomes. So we know in the fertilization, the female, whatever the mother cell is there, mother cell will form the haploid gametes. Yes or no? So mother, we know mother cell is having XX chromosomes and she will be forming the haploid gametes. So this is one ova, this is another ova. Here both the ova of the mother contains the X chromosome, whereas the father, he will be containing the X chromosome and he will be containing the Y chromosome. Okay. So whichever the chromosome here joins, that will give whether it's a male or female. First, suppose here this X will combine with this X, then you will be getting XX, which is a female. This X will combine with this Y, and that will give XY, which is a male. And this X could combine with this X, and you have a chance of getting female. And this X will combine with this Y, you are getting the chance of male. So if you see here, there is a out of four, two were female and two were male. So what is the ratio here? What is the ratio between the male and female? The chance. What is the chance for forming the male and female?
50.
50%, right? So for male and female, it's a 50-50%, or you can say 1:1 ratio. This is very important. So, and who is the determine here? Who will determine whether it's a male or female? Is that a female or a male?
Male.
Male.
Yeah.
Male.
So remember, the sperm, which sperm will combine with the ova, that will determine whether it's a male or female. If it is X sperm combines with X ova, then it's a female. If it is a Y sperm that combines with X ova, then it's a male. So here it's not the female who determines. Actually, it's the sperm of the male who determines which sex it is. But always in the society, it's the one the female is blamed for giving a girl childbirth in ancient days. It's not now. So remember, sex determination, it's a biological mechanism which determines the development of the sexual characters in organism. And it was first given by the Hanking, which is on an insect in the year 1891. Okay. And he's the guy who discovered X chromosome. Remember, it's very, very important. Hanking, he discovered X chromosome. Okay. And he named that as a X body. Later, he changed it to X chromosome. Okay, so this leads to development of chromosomal basis of sex determination. So before that, we used to define by based on the morphologically after the birth. But after E discovery, then based on the chromosomes itself, we could able to determine whether it's a male or female. Okay, and if you're seeing the zygote or the egg, and under the microscope, fertilized egg, if it is found that it is having XY chromosome in it, then it is said to be a male. If it is found that the zygote is containing XX, the 23rd one, then it is determined as female. Okay. So you can see here, there's a 50% chance for the male and female. Okay. So female always contribute X, whereas the male contributes X or Y. Okay. And that will determine the sex of the offspring. So it is the male sperm that determines whether offspring will be a girl or boy, and the chances of being the boy or girl, it is 50%. Okay. So according to that, we should be having same ratio of male and female in this society, but we are having more males compared to the females. That's because of earlier days, it's a lot of female feticides compared to the male. Okay. So the male gamete has contributed X chromosome, it fuses with the X chromosome, then the zygote will result in formation of the girl. Okay. And you can see here, if the male contribute the Y chromosome, then it will be, the zygote will be the boy. Okay. So that's how you will be determining the sex in humans. So remember, here the father sperms that fertilizes the egg, and that will decide whether it's a girl or boy. And it's a completely random process because the man also will not have any control over this. Okay, he cannot tell his sperms whether you go and meet, or the X go and meet, or Y go and meet the egg. It's not under his control. It completely happens naturally. Okay, so that's about the sex determination in humans. Remember, guys, this is very important. Anyways, this one you know, sex determination in humans, you know, but sex determination in birds, you remember, it's not X and Y, it is Z and W, Z and W. So if it is Z and Z, it's a male. If it is Z and W, it's the female. Remember, actually, we humans have X and Y. The males have sorry, the females have X and X. The males have X and Y. So here, the males are determinant in humans. But coming to birds, it's the female who determines the sex of the zygote. If the Z meets with the Z male chromosome, then it's a male. If the W meets with the Z sperm, then it will be ZW, which is the female. Okay. So remember, this is very important thing. So what is the sex determination in the birds? Whether it's determined by the female or male, it is determined by the female. And what is the chromosomes present in the female? ZW. Whereas in the males, it is ZZ. Okay. And here also ZW, ZZ, it's all the matter of 50% chance. 50% could be female bird and 50% could be male birds. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So remember this one. This one is very important. ZW. Okay. Next one is sex determination in fruit flies. So actually, Drosophila, actually here I deleted whatever that's given in the NCRT. So in Drosophila, the males have one X and one Y chromosome, where females have a pair of X chromosomes besides autosomes. And remember, in Drosophila, it is not determined by the presence of Y or not. Actually, it is determined by the ratios of the autosomes and X chromosome. If I just give this statement, which is given in the NCRT, then you would probably say it is determined by the Y chromosome. But actually, it is determined by the ratios of autosome and X chromosome. First, suppose let's take two cases. One is case one and case two. So first, suppose let me take a case one where it is XX and AA. Here A in the sense autosomes. That's a somatic one, not the reproductive chromosomes. These are somatic chromosomes. And let's take the case Y, which is XY is to AA. Okay. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
So now what? Now tell me here. So what's the ratio between the X and XX and AA? How many X are present here? There are two. How many A's are present here? Two. So its ratio is 1:1. If you take, it's a one number. But if you see here, how many X are present here? It's one. And how many autosomes are present here? Two. If you see this ratio, 1 by 2, it is nothing but 0.5. Okay. It's a 1 and 0.5. So that variation will tell whether it's a male or female. Understood? Let's take a case 1 and case 2 ratios. So in the case 1 rate, you take the ratio of XX is to AA. So here XX in the sense it's the female, and both the male and female contains AA as the autosomes. Okay. If I tell Drosophila actually contain three pairs of chromosomes. Okay. So it contains actually three pairs of chromosomes. In that, two pairs are autosomes. Guys, write this. It's not also given in NCRT. I'm not including in my PPT. So two pairs are autosomes, and one pair, it is sex chromosome. Okay. So one thing you remember about the fruit fly. So this fruit fly, also called as Drosophila. Remember, Drosophila contains three pairs of chromosomes in it. We contain how many? 23 pairs. Like that, the fruit fly contains three pairs of chromosomes. In the three pairs of chromosomes, two pairs are autosomes and one pair is that of sex chromosome. Okay, that's one thing. And the sex chromosome could be XX, XY. Okay, so depending on the number of X chromosomes present, the ratio here varies. How does it varies? For suppose you take the ratio between the autosome and sex chromosome, it is 2 is to 2, which is nothing but 1 is to 1, which is nothing but 1. Okay, so that's the case one. So where you will tell if it is 1, you will say it's a female. And you take the case 2, it is XY is to AA. That is nothing but 1 is to 2, which is nothing but 0.5. Here you will tell it's a male. Okay, so that's how you will define. The question can come like in Drosophila, the sex determination can be done by Y chromosome. Nope, it is not done by the Y chromosome. Remember this. Okay, write down this thing: three pair of chromosomes, two pairs contains the autosome, and one pair contains the sex chromosome. Okay, and depending on number of X chromosomes present, the ratio varies. Okay, it could be 1 or it could be 0.5. Just remember this one thing. So Drosophila, sex determination primarily controlled by ratio of X, X chromosome to autosome, X to autosomes. So you can say X is to A ratio. So in this first condition, how it happened? There is a XX is to 2A, which is giving one female. If you see here, XY is to AA, which is giving 0.5. So if it is 0.5, the ratio, we will say it's a male. If it is a 1, it's a female. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you may have doubt like, sir, it's Y is there. Because of that, the ratio is getting down. So you can say male. So your Y is determining. But yeah, you can say that, you can have that doubt. But for that, you need to go in detail. So why we cannot say the X as a, sorry, Y as a sex determining here. Okay. There's a lot of information that's like sex lethal will say it is XXI. So that's a very crucial for the development of the female, and that will be brought by the X and XO chromosome. There's a lot of information about that. So that's why even the NCRT is not mentioned. So right now you just remember only this much. That's enough. Okay. Because why can't I say XY? First, suppose I can also have X is to O ratio. So that could also give me some different value. So in that condition, I cannot say it's a male. So that's why we are not taking Y as specifically the consider. We are taking 1 is to 1 ratio. Okay, Gauri. I thought you will ask this doubt, but you didn't.
No, sir, I understood.
Yeah. I thought like you will ask for this doubt, and I have seen some detailed concept and I read some article about this. It was giving a lot of information, so I said like it's okay. You guys doesn't need that much of information. So done. Can I move next? Come on, guys, tell me. Can I move next?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So next one, sex determination in grasshopper. Okay. So it's done. Here the female is XX and the male is XO. Okay. And what is meaning of O here? What do you mean by O here? So simply there is no another X chromosome. It's only having one X chromosome. Okay. O means that do not have any chromosomes. Okay. So it's only having one. So instead of keeping it empty, we will represent with O. So remember that. Okay. So the female is having XX chromosome, whereas males are having only one X chromosome. There is no two chromosomes here. So in grasshopper, the males have only one X chromosome besides the autosomes. There is no other chromosome here compared to the females, where females are having both the chromosomes. So in that condition, we called it as the male if it is only one X chromosome. If it is two X chromosomes, then we call it as females. Okay. So by that, you can determine whether it's a male or female, and it will give 50% males and 50% females. Okay. So egg fertilized by the sperms having X chromosomes become females, and those which fertilize with the O or that like a space empty one that gives a males. Understood? Here O in the sense it's just a nothing. Instead of showing nothing, we'll represent it like O or zero. Clear?
Yes.
You know the lizards doesn't need a female male at all. They can do parthenogenesis. Okay. So next one, sex determination in bees. Okay, so we know beans are having three types. We'll study about these worker, drone, and queen in detail when we'll be studying about some ecology chapter, I think. Okay, so in that we'll study, not in ecology, the other chapter. Okay, so we'll be studying there. So how does this worker, drone, and queen is there? Okay, so what is the and remember here the queen and the worker both are females, whereas the drone it is a male. Remember this: the drone is a male, queen is a female, and worker is a female. Okay, and remember this worker is infertile. Only these two are fertile. Remember this. So the drone and queen both are fertile, whereas the worker is infertile. Okay, so in honeybees, we have a three kinds. One is worker, drone, and queen. Queen is a female, drone is a male, worker is a female. Worker is infertile, drone is fertile, queen is fertile. Okay, there is a queen and there are several drones and workers. Always queen will be one, but we'll be having several workers and several drones. Okay, and drones are males whose role is to fertilize the queen. So this guy role is to just make the queen fertile. That's it. Okay, he doesn't do any other work. He has no work apart from fertilizing the female. But here are the workers who do all the work. These are the housekeeping ones. These will go and collect the pollen. These will feed the larva. These will feed the all bees. Okay. So, and they also make the wax. So whatever the honey is there, these are the ones they bring the honey. And these two guys doesn't do anything. They just increase the population. He doesn't do anything. He just eat and fertile the female. That's it. So is actually okay. So basically everything in the hive is done by the worker bees. Okay. And remember, so drone, queen, okay, they will fertile and form N and N. So sex determination in honeybee is based on number of set of chromosome an individual receives. So when queen mates with the drone, she stores the sperms of the drone. So remember, there are two possibilities here. Okay. So first one, this drone fertilize the queen. Fertilize the queen. Now this queen has the capability to control these sperms. Okay, so what does this queen do? She will store the sperms. This guy will just deliver, is a sperm donor, he will donate it, and this queen will store it. And she will decide whether I should use these sperms or whether I don't need to use these sperms. Okay. So how does she will do? Two scenarios. One, when queen needs more workers in the society, when queen needs more drones in the society. Okay. First, suppose if she is making this honeycomb, and if she need more workers to bring the honey, collect the honey from different plants, from the flowers, she will make the workers. No, no, no. She want only to increase the population. Then she will increase the number of drones. And those are the two possible cases. And it's under the control of the king. So what is in first case she will do? When queen needs more workers in the society, that means to collect the honey, to housekeep and all. So queen utilizes the sperms. Offspring is formed from the union of the sperm and egg. So that zygote develops as the female. So sperms from drone and egg form the queen bee. So the female is a diploid. Remember here, so how do you differentiate between the drone and queen? So the drone, it's the haploid. The queen and the worker, these are diploid. Remember. So diploid is a haploid. Okay. So first condition, what does she do? In order to make the diploid condition, what we'll do? We'll be taking the female gamete, we'll be taking the male gamete, we will fuse them. Both are haploid, haploid. When they fuse, it will form the diploid. So that will give the female. Okay. So that will make the workers. So when queen needs more workers in the society, so she will fertilize the sperms now. She will fertilize her egg with the sperms. So she will undergo reproduction. But in case if she doesn't need the workers, she need the drone, she will not use the sperms. Instead, she will create the drones by parthenocarpy. So see here, she doesn't utilize the sperms, and offsprings are formed without from the unfertilized egg without using the sperms. So here you can see the parthenocarpic. Okay. Or it's not parthenocarpy, it's for plants. You can say it's a parthenogenesis. So without fertilizing the egg with the sperm, she's just delivering she's making the zygote. She's making the drones. So that process, we call it as the parthenogenesis. So offsprings obtained is the male drone. This means that males have the half the number of the chromosomes. So we call the males as the haploid. You guys understood what happened here?
So can you explain it again?
Okay. So see here. Uh, okay. So see here, listen carefully. There is a two cases. Okay. So what happens here? The drone, who is a male, he delivers the sperms to the queen. Okay. That queen will not fertilize directly the eggs. It is stored by the queen. Okay. So unlike in humans, what happens when the male delivers the sperms? They directly go and fuse the eggs. We can't control that. But it is not the same like in the honeybees. Here, the queen can control the sperms. What she will do? She will act like a sperm bank. She will store the sperms. If she need to use those sperms, she will use. If she doesn't need those sperms, she will not use. Okay. So based on that, two conditions are there. One, first condition, use sperms. Second condition, don't use sperms. Doesn't use sperms. Okay. So first case is the queen will use the sperms to fertilize her egg and form the zygote. The second condition is she doesn't use the sperms, but still she will make the egg to to turn into a offspring. Okay, so you can say this is like an unfertilized egg which is turned into offspring. So that process we call it as parthenogenesis. Okay. So first condition is you have the sperm which is haploid, you have the egg which is haploid, you fertilize both, you form the zygote which is diploid. If it is a diploid, if you are having double number of chromosomes, then it's a female. And what's happening here? There is only egg is present and there is no sperm involved here. This egg itself is turning into offspring. So as only one haploid cell is going to the offspring, so it is containing half the chromosome. So you can call it as haploid. So here only half chromosomes are present. So haploid. So this one will turn into a drone. Understood? And this one, whichever the fertilized one is there, it turned into a queen or worker. Here in this case, it will be worker. Okay. So there are two cases. One is when queen needs more workers in the society, queen utilizes the sperm and the offspring is formed from the union of the sperm and egg. That is nothing but the fertilized egg. So zygote will be developed. That zygote will turn out to be a female, which is a diploid in nature. The second condition is when queen needs more drones in the society, she doesn't fertilize the egg with the sperms. So by using the parthenogenesis, the males are formed, the drones are formed, which contains haploid, half the number of chromosomes. So that's why this sex determination is called as haplodiploid system. If it is haploid, it's a male. If it's a diploid, it's a female. So that's why it is called as haplodiploid system. Understood? Any doubts?
No, sir. No, sir.
Yeah. One second, guys. And you may have the doubt. So how can here the queen and worker can differentiate? Okay. So when they are in larva stage, the food they get, the nourishment they get. Okay. So initially both are fed with the royal jelly. Okay. That's a very top high quality honey. Okay. Which is produced by the worker bee. But later on, the only the queen will get, but the other one remaining all will not feed the excess diet. Okay. So those which are not feeded, they cannot develop the sexual organs and they turn into infertile. Only the queen will turn into a fertile one. Okay. The one which is taking too much of royal jelly throughout their development. So initially, both are given the royal jelly, but after some time, it's like Kalki. So remaining all are will not be feeded. Only these, the fertile lady will be feeded very well. Okay. And she will turn into a queen. If not, she will become infertile and turn into a worker. Okay. So that's how it will happen. So see here. So based on the number of set of chromosomes, there is a female and male. So female contains the diploid set of chromosomes, whereas male contains the haploid. Female can be queen or worker, which is formed due to the sexual reproduction. That's a fusion of gametes. Whereas here it will happen through parthenogenesis, which is an unfertilized egg. So male produce sperms by mitosis. So you see here, it is produced by the mitosis. It cannot go with the meiosis. If it goes with the meiosis, what happened? So whatever the half set of chromosomes are there, 16 number, they will reduce to 8, or it will reduce to n by 2. That can't be possible. So here, this one thing you remember. Still, in order to maintain the same number of chromosomes, they undergo mitosis. Already, these are haploid males. If still they make a meiosis for formation of the gametes, then they will become n by 2. So that can't be possible. So they will undergo through mitosis. Okay. So this is the special unique thing. Remember this. Okay. The sperms in honeybee are formed by mitosis, not by meiosis. So you can see here, the parent is having 32, males are having 16, and they also deliver the gamete 16. So through the process of mitosis. But in female, it happens only through meiosis. Remember, okay, this is the only unique condition. And what is the reason is, if they undergo meiosis, then whatever the 16 n is there, it can come to n by 2, that's 8. So that can't be possible because genetic information is lost. So in order to keep them the same, they will undergo equational division, that is mitosis. Okay, is that clear, guys? This is very important thing. They can ask any type of question here. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so tell me what would be the answer here? Swanking discovered X chromosome. Does he?
Yes, sir, he did.
Mm-hmm. What about the others?
Yes, sir. Option
Actually discovered X body that is replaced by the X chromosome. But anyway, Enking discovered X chromosome. Tell me what about this? The sex in birds is determined by
A. No, sir.
what?
It's determined by females.
Okay. What is that we use here? Is it XX and XY?
ZW for females and ZZ for males.
Yeah. ZW and ZZ is the one which we'll use here. So what about this? Y chromosome determines X in Drosophila. Hmm? In Drosophila, sex is determined by the Y chromosome, or it is determined by the ratio of X chromosome to the set of autosomes.
So the X chromosome that
It is determined by the ratio of, remember, this is very important, not simply X. It's determined by the ratio of X chromosome to the autosomes, okay, or set of autosomes. Remember this. It should be like this: XX is to AA. That gives 1. If it is XY or XO is to AA, that will give not 1, it will give 0.5. So that will be determined as the male. Okay, so that's why we should take the ratio of X chromosomes to the ratio of set of autosomes. If it is 1, it's a female. If it is 0.5, it's a male. Clear, guys? So the answer is option A. Understood? Any doubts?